What is up, guys? Sophia here, your spiritual transformation coach, and I'm back with another video. And I'm already hyped because I'm excited about this topic, and I can already tell you in advance that I'm probably going to get very hyped and distribute a wide range of emotions during this video because that is how passionate I am about this topic. All right. So what we're going to talk about is dealing with deadbeat daddies, y'all. And so y'all, if you follow me, my blog, my Instagram, whatever, then I'm a single mom and I deal with a deadbeat daddy. But the difference between me and so many other single moms that I get is that so many of you are still affected by the deadbeat dad. And so I just want to let you know up front, single mom, what you are not going to do is to continue to punish yourself, feel bad about yourself, or get angry over what somebody is not doing, okay? If you are a single mom and you are doing you, maximizing your life, doing what you need to do for your children, don't feel bad over no dude that's not doing anything or not providing for his kids. Don't even get mad. You're not going to punish yourself and they're off living their life and you sitting up here crying over their nonsense. So I just had to put that out there, and I'm not even done with the intro. So if you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also I just want to let you know to check the description box because this video can only be so long, and I have a ton of articles on my blog relevant to all of what I'm going to talk about. And so if you want more information, you can always click on those links and read more information, okay? All right, so why don't we just go ahead and jump into the video, shall we? All right, single mom. The first thing I want to go over is that your suffering is not permanent, and you need to go from a place of suffering to prospering. And really, a lot of y'all single moms are suffering because what your deadbeat daddy won't do. But at the end of the day, who cares about him? Like, I'm not one of those where I'm not going to tell you not to get child support. I think that's crazy. Yes, you should get child support. But really, even if you get child support, that doesn't mean that he's going to pay it. And you could be in a situation right now where you are broke, hungry, struggling, tired, and feeling all types of ways. So no matter what, you just need to move from a place from where you at to somewhere else where you need to go. And I can personally relate to this because it was a few years back when I lost my job. I wasn't getting any child support. I mean, I still don't, but I was like broke. I lost my job. I was broke. It's just that place or that mindset of hopelessness that you start to feel as a single mom when everything is on you and you have like this child to provide for and you have to do it on your own. So I actually want to go into the story of the widow at Zarephath. I often teach from the Bible if you guys are new to my channel, but I really want to make a point here because even though like we suffering now, suffering is not new. And so I feel like she's a perfect example of a single mom of what you may be going through today. So I'm going to go to 1 Kings 17:12. And so let me give you some historical context. Elijah the prophet came to this woman and was like, give me some food. Mind you, she's a single mom. And she's broke. I don't know, how she lost her husband. She could be a widow. I don't know how she lost her husband. It don't say. All we know is that it is her and her son, and they're broke and they're poor and they don't have food. And Elijah is coming to ask her for something to eat. And then she said to Elijah, as the Lord your God lives, I have no bread, only a handful of flour in the bowl and a little oil in a jar. See, I am gathering a few sticks so that I may go in and bake it for me and my son that we may eat it as our last meal and die. So the reason why, I know it's like a morbid verse, but honestly, I really feel like every time I read this verse, it touches me to the core of my existence because I know what that feeling is like as a single mom. I know that you know what that feeling is like as a single mom. And I know that you may feel like all the responsibility is falling on me. I might not have any money while the deadbeat dad is getting away with murder and he's not doing anything. But see, I'm going to continue on to what Elijah said to her. Do not fear. Go and do as you have said. Just make me a little bread from it first. Bring it out to me, and afterwards you may make one for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord God of Israel says. The bowl of flour shall not be exhausted, nor shall it be emptied until the day the Lord sends rain again, because there was a drought to the face of the earth. And so she did what he said, and then they never went hungry again. So her bowl, like, she kept drawing flour from it, and it never dried up. So what you can take from this is not to go around feeding random people. That's not the point of this. The point is that at this point, you have to learn to take faith in something. A lot of people, we're moving from the realm of Christianity. I'm a Christian all day, every day, and that's just what it is. A lot of people ask me why that is. It's because, like this widow, when I didn't have no food and I didn't have no money and I was struggling, I never went without food. My bills always got paid. I don't know how it happened, but it just happened. And so sometimes when you can't have faith in anything else, you need to put that faith in God, because that's the only way that you can see it happen. The deadbeat daddy ain't gonna do nothing. Nobody's just gonna, money's not gonna fly out of the sky. You don't have it in your ability to do anything. So instead of worrying about other people and what they're not doing for you and who, what, where, when, and how, worry about the person that can do something for you and choose to put your faith in the Lord. And so really, single moms, you need to find some faith. I know a lot of people ain't Christian. You don't have to necessarily be Christian to watch my channel. But if you are but what do you have to lose? You're not feeling good now. You're nowhere now. You don't feel like you have hope now. So if you already there, don't stay in a place of desperation. Why can't you just choose to believe, and maybe something might happen? And that would be the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is you doing the same thing, getting the same results, and not getting anywhere. Which actually brings me to my next point, and that is that you need to make yourself into a great nation. So I get a lot of feedback from other single moms talking about how they just allow their baby daddy to stomp all over them. They call them fat, ugly, uneducated, and all this, that, and the third. And then they choose to believe them. And I'm like, okay, if he's saying this about you, why do you believe it? And they'll be like, oh, because I am uneducated, I am fat. Okay, but why can't you shut them up and make them a liar by going out and getting some education, losing some weight if that's what you want to do, getting a better job, making some more money, and making yourself into a great nation? First of all, a lot of y'all are listening to the deadbeat dad who's a deadbeat dad who ain't doing anything anyway. And then you want to sit up there and allow him to come to you and dictate who you are and allow you to believe things about yourself when you are there for your child all day, every day, and they're not? That's like listening to somebody who is bad with money and is continuously bankrupt and living on the street give you financial advice. How are you going to give me advice about myself and what I should be doing when you're not even doing what you should be doing? So if that's the case, why do you care what they think, and why are you listening to them? Instead, you need to shut them up, make them a liar, and make yourself into a great nation. So I want to actually go to the story of Hagar, and I spoke extensively about Hagar in my other baby daddy's video, how to get over your baby daddy, and I'll post that down in the description box. But really, you will see some similarities between the story of Hagar and the widow at Zarephath, because they was both in a place where they was about to die and they was hungry and they ain't have no food. But see, like the widow, she chose to have faith. Hagar is choosing to also get up and make herself and her son into a great nation. So I want to start off in Genesis 21:15. And so prior to this, basically Hagar had a child by Abraham, and Abraham sent Hagar and his son away with a small behind bottle of water and a little bit of food. So y'all want to talk about y'all not getting no child support? Like literally, he was like, all right, y'all, this is all I'm giving you. I'm never going to see you for the rest of my life. Let me give you some half a bread and let me give you a little bottle of water, and you go out into the desert and have a nice day, right? That's what he said. And so verse 15 says, when the water in the skin was all gone, Hagar abandoned the boy under one of the bushes. She went and sat down opposite of him, about a bow shot away, for she said, do not let me see the boy die. And she sat down opposite of him. She raised her voice and wept. God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called out to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice from the boy where he is resting. Get up, help the boy, hold him by the hand, for I will make him a great nation." So if you remember, when we go back to the widow, it's like we're in this same type of situation, and God is still coming in. This is why I'm saying, like, the first tip, you have to have faith in something, because there's, like, they was in the wilderness. There wasn't a well like next door. You have to say, I don't know what I can do, so what? And so allow God to speak to you, because I'm convinced that God definitely has sympathy for single moms, especially for single moms who's has children by fathers who aren't about anything. He's like, okay, you know what? And that's not to say Abraham is not about anything. I don't want to take that out of context. But it's like, God is like, okay, you know what? Why don't you stop crying? Because that's not going to help. Why don't you get up, take you, yourself, your child, go somewhere else and build something great. And so with that being said, that is what I was talking about when it's like, okay, so you're allowing a deadbeat dad, who is a deadbeat dad by definition, to come at you and make you feel bad about yourself. And if it's really causing you that much strife internally, what he's saying, just get up and make yourself a great nation. There is no better way to prove people wrong than to go about your life, master it, be a boss, and be better than what they left you as. Go for it and don't pay them any attention. And a lot of y'all who don't get child support, like, people are like, well, oh, you know, you always say you don't get child support. No, I don't. But I also don't necessarily worry about it, because I have come to learn that I'm not going to depend on what comes in the mail, because he may not send it. And so the only person that I can depend on for me and my son is me, and I can only control me. And I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to do in order to make me into a great nation, so that I can make more money to provide for my son, so that he can have a good life and grow up and have a better life than I did. It's all about building a legacy. And since you can't depend on the deadbeat to help you with that, then sometimes you just got to get up and do that on your own. And I feel like you have to believe that you can do that on your own. I got a master's degree, a Ph.D. as a single mom. I got a lot of my Ph.D. while I was like jobless and broke. But I did not give up, because my end goal was to always have more, was to always be more, and to always have control over my financial situation, so that I would never be in that situation again. And even with child support enforcement, my son's father is ordered to pay $68, y'all. Right. Since he was born. So it's like, okay, why place your future in somebody else's hands, such as child support enforcement? And even in that instance, you have to, hope that they pay it, which, if you're watching this video, they're not. And so it's like, you know what? Let's cut all that out. I can't control these people. I can control myself. I can control what I will become. And therefore, I'm going to elevate myself, so I don't have to worry about all these people. I don't have to worry about you talking trash about me, because what can you say once I'm kind of being a boss and mastering my own life? What can you can try to say this, that, and the third, but then you're not going to believe it. You're not going to say, oh, I'm uneducated, when you have a degree. How can that be true? That's like an oxymoron. So instead of putting so much focus on what they think about you and how they're putting you down, use that focus to pick you and your child up, make yourself into a great nation along with your children. And that way you can say, yes, I did this. And not only did I do it, I did it without the help of you. And so I'm going to go into the next thing that plagues, single moms that have a deadbeat dad. And that is, your child does have a father. Like, I know a lot of people is like, oh, I just want my child to have a father, blah, 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 blah. No. Because first of all, they do have a father. They do have a father. God is their father. And I'm going to get into that momentarily. But more than anything, I want to debunk this whole myth that if you're a mom, you can't raise a man, or if you are a woman raising a daughter by yourself, that your daughter's going to grow up with daddy issues. Let's not even go there, because to me, oftentimes with the deadbeat dad syndrome, right? It's like the deadbeat dad, they can't teach your son how to be a man. They don't even know how to be a man. They can't teach your daughter what to look for in a man, because you wouldn't want her to look for what they are, because they're a deadbeat. And so what you can do is say, you know what, and my son, he's very Christian too, believe it or not. Like, you think I'm kind of overkill with the Bible. He's very Christian too. But see, that's because I wanted him to develop a relationship with a father. And so if you're Christian, if you're not Christian, if you're newly Christian, some people don't understand the concept that God is just not some invisible entity floating around in the sky that we can't talk to or communicate with. He can be as real to you as I am to you right now. And so even when I was going through my financial situation, like God provided for my son, that's what a father did. That's what a father did, right? His father wasn't doing it. Nobody else was doing it, but God made a way. And that's what I'm talking about, of the father to the fatherless. And so I want to actually go and quote the scripture that I'm talking about. So I'm going to go into Psalm 68, verse 5. A father to the father, a father of the fatherless, and a judge and protector of the widow. Ooh, I feel like y'all don't understand how powerful that verse is. So I am going to break it down to you so you can understand what a powerful father your child has. So a father to the fatherless, like I just explained, that means that he could be a father to your child. But a judge and protector of the widows. So when we think of widows, we think of a woman whose husband has died. But I also like to think of that as a single mother, because it's somebody who has a family that does not have a man. So God not only says that he will protect y'all, and that's why I said earlier that I feel like God really has a sympathetic heart for single moms, and that if you want to reach for the stars, God is going to allow you to do that, because he already knows how the deadbeat dad is. And then he also says the judge. So that means that he is going to not judge you, but judge those people who come against you. So it's like, okay, your baby daddy want to be funny. He want to be a deadbeat. He want to be all this. You don't even have to worry about doing X, Y, and Z. You don't have to worry about getting get back, because God already said, not only do I got you, I got your child, but I will also take judgment out on those who mean you harm. And so that's why your focus needs to be on God, and he's going to get them back, and take the focus off of what they're doing, because it's as if you were to get remarried again and your new husband is the ultimate protector. He's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to let you go to war as a woman with your baby daddy. No, the husband is going to be like, you know what, boo, I got this. Let me handle him. I got you. You and the child, y'all go do on the bigger and better things, and I'm going to handle him man to man. And so that's why I think that is so important that, just try this God thing out as a single mom if that's not where your head is at. Why not? He has way more power than any human being. He can do way more damage than even you can do. And he can provide way more to your child if you cultivate that relationship with your child and make him and teach them to kind of have faith in God and ensure that they are connecting with God. Then they can have that father in God. And then you can also have a husband with God. And that actually brings me to my next point. So I'm going to start from Isaiah 54, 5 through 6. For your husband is your maker, the Lord of hosts is his name, and your Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel. So there's two things that I want to point out here. The most obvious is, like I said, God is your husband, duh. But then when we talk about your Redeemer being the Holy One of Israel, if you ever read the book of Ruth, and I'm not going to quote the scripture because I think I have a few videos where I'm talking about Ruth and I don't want to overkill. But what I will say is that when she first went to Boaz and said, hey, would you consider making me your wife? Or, to see it, but she called him, she didn't wasn't begging him, but it was called something specific, a guardian redeemer. And so this person was, because, Ruth was a widow, right? And then she came to Boaz and he was considered a guardian redeemer, as a redeemer of her family since her husband was gone. But he was dead in this case. He wasn't a deadbeat dad. He just had died. And so what that means for you when we talk about a redeemer, if you're a single mom dealing with a deadbeat dad, then obviously something has gone wrong here with your family, because that's not normal. A man who doesn't work, doesn't eat. A father's supposed to be a father just like God is your father. They're supposed to provide. They're supposed to see your children. They're supposed to be a good father. They're not supposed to be abusive. They're not supposed to be hurtful. They're not supposed to be a lot of those things. And if your deadbeat is those things, then he's not a father as we would consider a good or traditional father, right? So God is saying, okay, you know what? I understand that things may have went wrong in that situation, but now I'm going to redeem you. Just as Boaz redeemed Ruth, and then she had way more money, owned more property, and she had another child, and she had a bigger, a family, and she had a better life than what she had before. And even in her situation, her husband died involuntarily. I don't want to compare, but I'm just using the word redeemer and what that means as to how God is being your husband, because like I said, we already know he's going to operate like a regular husband. He's going to provide, he's going to handle, he's going to judge, he's going to do all that, but also he's going to redeem your broken family. So even like with Hagar and the widow of Zarephath, both of them was like, God will do. God said, get up and go. God said, so he was literally redeeming their jacked up situation from being starving, broke, poor, in the middle of the wilderness with the sun beaming on their face, crying, thinking that them and their kids are about to die, to turning it around and making them into something else. And he did that he did that all by himself, because God doesn't need help. But that is what that means for you. Is like, okay, you have the deadbeat dad. We already established you're not going to worry about him. Instead, we're going to focus on God. We're going to make ourselves into a great nation. We're going to teach our kids how to grow that relationship with God so that they can understand that, no, you don't have an earthly father, but you have a heavenly father. And then we're going to make God our husband. And as we make God our husband, we know that he's going to protect us. We know that he is going to provide for us. And we know that he is going to take judgment out on us for those who are doing us wrong, so that we don't no longer have to believe, have to feed into what other people are doing. And then he is going to redeem our family that was once broken and take you and your child to another family, his family, and bring you to a different place so that your family is no longer broken. So basically, all of what I'm trying to say, because I know it was a lot of Bible scriptures and y'all like, okay, I kind of get it. But what I'm trying to say is, y'all need to move into a different place. I love getting emails from you guys. I love getting comments from you guys. I love getting feedback from you guys. I really, really do. But what I don't like is to see these single moms continue to live in this place that's just jacked up, staying stuck, allowing somebody who is no good to have hold on them and their family, and you are allowing that person to hold you back. We're not going to do that no more. God has a great life for you into the future, but you can't step over there because you're too busy thinking about somebody that didn't care about you anyway, and who doesn't care about your child anyway. Why? So stop punishing yourself. If you know that every day you wake up, even though you may not have everything, that you're doing the absolute best that you can do as a mom and by your child, then you shouldn't feel no guilt. You shouldn't feel any type of way, and you shouldn't feel like you have to explain yourself to anybody. I'm gonna need y'all to get up, move forward, and I want you to be, let's say in a year from now, 2 years from now, in a completely different and better place than where you are now. In a place where you're not worried about him, where you're not dependent on his money, and where you're not worried about what he is or is not doing for you and your child. That's where I need you to be. So I told you I was gonna get hyped because I'm very passionate about this topic. So anyway, y'all, that is all. I really, really hope that y'all got something out of this. If not, I would love to hear your comments, questions, likes, concerns, all of it. I'm here to answer your questions. Check in the description box for some extra blogs and all that stuff that I've written specifically on this topic if you want to expand your knowledge and get more insight to what I'm saying. And I will see you guys another day, another time. Bye, y'all.